Season 1, Episode 1. When Caitlin tells Vi that she's going after Jinx with the Enforcers, Vi immediately asks if she can help. Caitlin's response to this is to hand Vi a badge and ask her to join the Enforcers. Vi immediately gets upset and tells Caitlin that she watched Enforcers murder her parents. Caitlin gets defensive and says, I thought you were on our side. A very unfair statement after everything they've been through together, and Vi storms off. Caitlin doesn't show even the slightest compassion for Vi here, essentially calls her a traitor, even though she said she wanted to help. Caitlin is basically saying that unless Vi wears the uniform worn by the men who killed her parents, she's of no use, even though it would show far more unity between Piltover and Zorn if Vi was to go down there dressed as a Zornite, showing that the two factions can work together. We find out from Maddie that Caitlin has actually already begun the process of registering Vi as an enforcer without Vi's consent. Later in the episode, Caitlin refers to Zornites as animals right in front of Vi's face and shouts at Vi while she's trying to comfort her. Caitlin does admit that she was wrong to spring the badge on Vi, stating that she knows if she goes after Jinx alone, one of them will die. This still makes no sense, because the options weren't make Vi a cop or go solo. There was nothing stopping Vi from going with her in her normal clothes. Caitlin just wouldn't humour that idea for some reason. Season 2, Episode 2, Caitlin begins gassing Zornites and has made Vi an accomplice in this. This is against the Geneva Protocol, by the way. I know that doesn't exist in the Arcane universe, but it's nice to know that what Caitlin is doing here is considered a war crime in our world. In World War II, Germany violated that treaty by deploying toxic smoke in Sevastopol to try and force Russian resistance fighters out of the caverns below the city. Just as a fun parallel for you. The gas is shown to cause breathing difficulties and eye irritation in those who inhale it, to the point that the enforcers all wear gas masks. It's stated that the gas is used to clear the streets as a way to keep the civilians safe. But it doesn't feel likely that the houses down here are going to have any real air filtration to keep the gas out. And what if someone's physically disabled and unable to flee the area? I guess they just have to cope. Season 2, Episode 3, Vi asks Caitlin to promise her that she won't change, even though she's already gone from being a naive but caring rookie to Captain Kill the Poor over the course of a few weeks. Vi's character is pretty damaged at this point. Not only is she allowing Caitlin to gas the civilians of her home, she actively defends the choice later in this episode. This is the point at which they share their first kiss, as if Vi wouldn't already find Caitlin to be a repulsive person after terrorizing the innocent civilians that Vi should want to protect. Even Jinx, the terrorist, points out how evil their actions are. They fight Jinx, and at the end of the fight, they have Jinx and a child cornered. Caitlin shoots one of Vi's gauntlets, doesn't react to it, and repeatedly aims her loaded gun at Vi, even though her gun was just malfunctioning. She fires another shot while Vi's running towards her, so close that Vi is able to push the barrel of the gun down in time. After this, Caitlin and Vi get blasted into a new area. They argue, Caitlin stating that Vi isn't any different to Jinx because of the blood in her veins, and when Vi responds that Caitlin is the one acting like Jinx, Caitlin strikes Vi with the butt of her rifle, right in the spot where Vi was stabbed in Season 1. Caitlin knows about that wound, she was the one who tended to it, but still hits her there. The strike is powerful enough to leave Vi, one of the most resilient characters in the show, crumpled on the ground, whimpering and crying. Caitlin doesn't say a word as she turns away and leaves her. Season 2, Episode 4, Caitlin is now the Grand Dictator of Piltover and has moved on and is sleeping with one of her soldiers. She won't yeah, we're not going to focus too much on the power dynamic at play here. Season 2, Episode 5, Vi is now emotionally devastated and has been reduced to a pit fighting member of the Black Veil Brides. Season 2, Episode 6, when Vi follows Singed, Caitlyn stops her. Instead of trying to use her words, she opens by attacking Vi with 4 strikes to the body, then slam dunks her onto the ground. Their reunion feels more like a rematch, and once again, Caitlyn is the one landing the significant strikes. You could try to argue that she didn't recognize Vi with the new hair color, but Vi literally has her name tattooed on her face. And Caitlyn's a sharpshooter. Presumably, she has somewhat decent eyesight. Caitlyn immediately changes teams to help Vi when Vi says her dad isn't involved. Caitlyn doesn't even mention Jinx here. Caitlyn strikes Vi across the face with her rifle, but this time it was Vi's idea, so I guess we can let that one slide. It doesn't change the 5 or so other times Caitlyn has hit her. Season 2, Episode 8, Vi wakes up in bed after being injured, and the only person waiting to make sure she's okay is Loris. Caitlyn is nowhere to be seen. When they meet back up, Vi suggests that Caitlyn should trust Jinx enough not to shove her in a box. Despite the fact that Jinx has tried to kill Caitlyn several times, she killed Caitlyn's mum and has killed at least 17 enforcers up to this point. Vi and Caitlyn get down to business in the jail cell where Jinx just told Vi that she was going to off herself. It feels pretty wrong, especially considering that 2 out of the last 4 times they've interacted, Caitlyn has physically struck Vi. Season 2, Episode 9, Vi and Caitlyn don't interact until the end of the episode, where they fly off happily ever after and cuddled up in an airship. Unless you're watching from China. Vi states that she is the dirt under Caitlyn's nails. That's gross. And the show just ends. They never bother acknowledging Caitlyn's war crimes, her physical abuse, her verbal abuse, her hatred towards Zor Knights. They just brush that under the rug to pretend that this is a wholesome love story. The worst part is that this is the only one of the main romances of the show that survives through to the end, despite being the most unhealthy. The biggest issue I have is that Caitlyn never has to put in real work to make amends for her wrongdoings. She's rewarded with everything she wants at the end of the show. I worry that stories like this are going to normalize or perhaps even glorify abusive relationships, especially since the reception I've seen to the CaitVi romance has been overwhelmingly positive. Nobody should have to put up with being spoken to, spoken about, or physically harmed by their partner in the ways demonstrated this season. You deserve better.